Three mere mortals discover their ability to create entire universes with their minds alone. Upon discovering their abilities, these three, gods if you will, join forces to create the Dark and Stormy Nights, a supercharged team of creatives with the aim of helping artists and writers around the world while combating the forces of boredom and mundanity. They are the Dark and Stormy Nights.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dark and Stormy Nights. What episode are we on?
30.
We are on episode 30, and this is chapter...
Well, this
Not
is
a
the
chapter.
plotting of chapters.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, we're plotting the next 3 chapters.
Plotting 4? I don't know if you want to keep track of that.
What chapter did we just finish in the previous
You
episode?
just read chapter 18.
18, okay. And, of course, I left it unfinished. My bad. Now, I mean, we know where it's going, but... you know, and I think we decided that we're going to have to finish up. This chapter is going to be split into 2 anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so... do you have a little recap for us?
Sure. Well, basically, the team arrives at the Miller farm. Of course, in all the chaos, they throw the poppy potion in the portal. They're having a doppelganger fight. Robert's soul being ripped, which wasn't mentioned, but will be retconned. Hammond's blown away, and the creatures are drawn back to the portal.
Good. I like it. Okay.
Hilarity ensues.
Now, are we adding anything to that? Like, is there anything
The
happening?
whole Robert soul rip, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that the only things that need to be added into chapter 18 are showing Desmond and his team fighting fey creatures and sending them through,
Okay.
and the Robert soul rip.
So maybe we can do that as Karen and Dale round the...
Oh, we also mentioned maybe them fighting Zara.
Yeah, well, I think that maybe they round the pile and there Zara is, or something like that, and Desmond's team or whatever like that, and Zara basically chases them back around the pile, you know what I'm saying? And then they re-enter the action or what have you.
Okay.
And then we ended with Hammond blowing himself out of his boots.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like literally?
Like literally.
Just smoking boots.
Yep, pair of smoking boots. And
Does that ever happen?
It
does now.
happened now.
Where are we? Right now,
He's
sir.
going to stroll
Right
back
now?
over
Right
with
now.
some holy socks, I would imagine.
His big toe hanging out the
Right.
sock.
Exactly.
It's a good image. So, right. And of course, the brownies haul off his doppelganger counterpart, who has just been knocked out by whatever he had jammed down the barrel. A little bit of instant karma. So, which everybody loves, a little instant karma.
That
For
pretty
sure.
much brings us to speed.
Okay, so then we're going into chapter
19.
and that's what we're about to talk about in this section.
Right. We did a little bit of plotting since it was actually a split of what was originally too much for 18. So we have a little bit there. I think we just need to fine-tune.
Title it Leftovers?
Well, I thought it could be Rumble at the Rift Part 2.
Okay.
Which
Could be.
in
Well,
case you
being
didn't
creative
know,
every episode is a little bit much.
there was Rumble in the Jungle, which was a boxing match, a famous
They
boxing
did have
match
a part
in
2
history.
to that, yeah.
And there was a part 2 to that. That's so I don't feel so bad about recycling the name. So there you
Fair
go.
enough.
Okay. So what do you want to start with? I mean, what do you think the chapter should start? Should we start where it ended, where we watch Hammond's boots smoking there? Do you want to...
Well, chapter 19, the notes that I have so far show the last chapter ends with Robert's soul being removed and Hammond dead, as far as our team is concerned. They realize that he's gone. Desmond's team starts shooting, which draws their attention to the portal where something big is starting to come through. And then this prompts Desmond and his cult to close the portal immediately, regardless of the fact that the fey creatures have not all returned.
Right.
And then they are going to, I think, take off, right?
Do you like the idea that it's like a hydra or something, or do
Well-
you think giant tentacles coming through? What sounds good? You know what you're going to go with, or you're going to surprise us?
I don't. I don't know. What did you guys want?
I mean, I like tentacles, but it's not my chapter.
Doesn't matter. Tentacles,
Tentacles
Hydra.
are pretty ominous. Like, it really could belong to
Yeah.
anything freaky.
Well, and I like the idea that should they succeed in just instant, because they might just be
It's
like,
gonna
screw
sever
this.
them, yeah.
You know, well, I'm thinking that a tentacle comes through and literally like grabs one of the doppelgangers or whatever.
If I can
pulls
put
it
a
through.
suggestion, skin colored like peach. Because
Ew.
I was thinking
It is
green.
disgusting, right?
Exactly.
Like
Immediately it's
veiny,
repulsive.
like veiny and peach.
yeah, like human skin, but in the shape of a squid. It's just
That's
so
pretty gross. Yeah. What if there's like some eyes inside
Like
suckers
slightly
too?
translucent on the surface.
I was gonna say like almost teeth instead of suckers. Like
Oh yeah, they have
Like
those.
little pincers.
The ends of
Yeah,
them.
some-
No, they got those
Yeah,
bony.
some of the
yeah,
suckers
like
have
bony
pincers
things
in them,
sticking
or
off
like
of the
little
edges
spines in them.
instead of.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds
So
of
like
gross things you
basically,
can do.
even if you don't get eaten, if you just get a tentacle wrapped around you, you're still getting bit.
Yeah, it's gonna mess you up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I say right off the bat, you could like
Ugh.
destroy one of the doppelgangers. You know, thin the field a little
I
bit.
almost hate I gave that
Which
away.
I
love it.
think I think would definitely, like, Desmond's already freaked out by all this stuff, you know. So I think in an instant he sees one of these things too, come through, grab, I don't care who it is, Zara or Meredith or something like that, and just pull him through, and that person's gone.
Now, the
End
only-
of combat for that person. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, shut this now.
Right.
I think the only reason they run away is because their numbers get decimated. Because if they close the portal, there's no incentive to leave unless they're outnumbered.
No, that's actually what I was just thinking, is that at the point when the cult and Jennifer close the portal, sever it shut, and whatever tentacles are sticking through,
They just fall to the ground.
and land on Desmond. And it's, oops, pull him out, let's get out of here.
Oh,
It's
so he's
still
knocked the hell
moving.
out? That's
Yeah.
great. No, I love it. I love it.
just flopping around.
Yeah, yeah,
trying to
yeah,
get
yeah,
at
like
stuff.
lands on him, and it's
Or
kinda
and maybe
squirming.
something's like regenerating from the other end.
I was gonna
Oh.
say, and I feel that Jennifer should grab one.
Like grab a tentacle.
Yeah, and just run off with it.
I think they're too
Caleb
big
and
for that.
Roberta are
She just
looking
pockets it.
looking down at Desmond as this thing oozes all over him. You think that's poisonous? No idea.
I can find a use for this later.
I think they're too big for her to grab and walk off with.
No,
I mean,
no,
she
like
might
just
be
like
able
a
to cut a
little
piece
piece.
of it off,
No,
but
I'm saying that Roberta and Caleb have to drag him out from under that thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a big. It has
It's
to
gonna
have
be
knocked
big.
him down.
You don't have her little.
I'm
pink
imagining
Cthulhu
like a
grow.
300-pound tentacle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, there's multiple tentacles. Like a small one could get severed off, and she could grow her little pocket.
So
Cthulhu.
here's
a
the
little tentacle
question:
tip?
how am I supposed
Yeah.
to kill the tentacles once they come through and keep moving? Or are they going to eventually die?
I think they die off or something like that. They only
Unless
live
they're
so
fed
long.
souls.
Because I mean, think about it. The source of their energy, the other side of the rift, is probably cut off from them
Yeah.
now. You know, or you can always have Crow just cut through them or something like that. You know, and his staff just sucks the spirit out of them or something.
Okay.
The whole thing is yucky.
Yeah. So what I was trying to get at is, you know, the underside is suckers or whatever, and we're saying let's go with the bony parts that they have at the tips, but cover the whole thing with it. If the top part was a slightly different skin tone, so underneath it's got like this reddy, calloused, like your fingertips, like a good dock worker's hands kind of thing going on, but the tips of it is this translucent old person's skin with like blue veins underneath.
How much time do you want me to spend describing?
It just sounds
tentacles?
creepy. It's so gross. Just imagining a boneless human.
But see, I
like,
imagine
limb
once
as
it's
a
like cut
squid.
off, it's squirting out this like black ichor.
Yes,
or
yes,
something
yes.
like that. You know, it's like.
It's it's Lovecraftian. You gotta give it a little love.
Well, even Lovecraft wasn't this creepy because Cthulhu was like this greenish, you know.
Yeah, and that's
blackish
gotten
color.
boring. That's why I want to go a different
And yeah,
direction.
but that's the thing. The fact that it's like human flesh colored is even grosser. You know, it's like you're used to it. You see it every day, but it should not be a tentacle,
right.
right? You know, so
Almost phallic. Ugh.
yeah. Mm.
Oh, come on. Do we need to go there?
Well,
Cthulhu does London. I don't know.
technically, I think it's squids or is it octopi? Maybe both. Like one of the limbs usually is a penis.
Yeah.
You can't tell. They all look the same.
Delightful.
And some of them they
So we're
rip it off
we're
and throw it at their
castrating
mate.
this thing.
Well, I don't know if all its limbs are shoved through. It's an noble, horrific beast from beyond.
Sexual harassment.
I'm just saying. I think
Can I
there's
have it
well,
like wiggle
yeah.
its tentacle into Desmond's ear or something?
Oh. A wet willy of a variety that. Ugh.
It's trying to like climb its way in.
Yeah, maybe
Stop it,
not-
Caleb. Stop it. I'm over here, boss.
definitely stop the description before we get to like fluids, because then
And
we're
then
in a
Jennifer's
different
like,
genre
why did you think it
altogether."
was Caleb? What does Caleb do when I'm not around?
Definitely not the story we're
Leaves
writing.
back like a slimy residue.
Exactly. Let's not do that.
So, all right. So I don't think the tentacles are the most important part, but it's definitely what
It's fun.
spurs them to shut the portal quickly.
Right?
And I like the idea that like a 300-pound portal or a tentacle
falls
just
on him.
drops on Desmond, knocking his ass out.
You know, I was thinking like a shimmery blue pull or a vista into the Fadelands, but when you went black and silver, I kind of loved it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of ripped it. Originally it was black and gold, but then I hate
No,
the Steelers.
silver.
So
What?
originally it was black and gold, but I hate the Steelers.
Oh, Jesus.
So not that I'm a big football fan, but
Yeah, not living here, you can't be.
screw Roethlisberger.
I mean, yeah, you can. There's
Yeah, if you
a
enjoy
entire
losing.
area of football fans going, next year.
Oh, I'm so tired of that.
I was one
I
of
think
them.
every
Is that our
losing
state
city
slogan?
does that, though.
Yeah, we'll get them next year.
I think every city that loses all the time does that. But nonetheless,
No one loses as much at anything.
yeah.
No one. There's probably an Alaskan football team who has a better record.
Oh my God! No, I used to watch all the time.
Do they have a
I
football
used
team?
to. I was a big football fan, and obviously, I wasn't just watching our team. I was watching all the teams, fantasy football, everything. And then I just got to the point where I was like, I can't take this abuse anymore. And I just, you get your hopes up
Yeah,
every
eventually
time, and then you're like, no, every single time
You
they
just
just
have
let me
to
down.
go, this relationship isn't worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
What am I getting out of it?
I'm
What have they
wait-
done for me lately?
I'm waiting for mutants and robots, and then I'll watch football when it's populated
When it's
by mutants and robots.
So like Futurama?
Yeah, you like futuristic football? That'd be awesome. I'd watch that. But this stuff, whatever. I played it. It's not that exciting.
This, unfortunately, it's not the story we're writing. So
No.
where were we?
Although, if we can throw this somewhere in the story,
Fantasy football?
trolls versus elves or something like that.
Oh, I
might
thought
be
you were
interesting.
gonna with the
Full
whole.
contact with magic allowed.
Or
I dig it.
where football. I
They're
don't know.
gonna
Yeah.
go with wooden robots or something.
So, but nonetheless, that still wouldn't be in this chapter.
No,
So.
probably not.
All right. So what do we do? So that means that a couple major things are happening. Then they shut the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond's hauled off, and then we got to finish. Did we finish the fight with? Or yeah, we did wrap up the soul being vacated from Robert. Right.
You handled that in
Right.
your chapter.
Okay.
As a retcon.
So right now, Robert's laying in a field somewhere with Crow and Wilhelm huddled over him. The problem is, we're kind of dealing with the villain team a little bit in chapter 19. It feels like.
Okay. Do you want to just flip
But-
perspective completely and put it on squarely on the villains?
That's not bad.
To some extent,
like
I
that.
think it's going to be.
Okay.
But I think at the point where they shut the portal and they're like, let's get him the hell out of
And it
here.
gives us a good
while he's
reason for-
unconscious.
Be two separate chapters.
To hold off on
That's
dealing
true.
with Robert. The thing is that there's also a shit ton of fey creatures left at this portal that the rest of our team is going to have to be fighting off while Crow and Wilhelm are tending to Robert.
Well, they're not all evil.
Well, first off, we could have the tentacles wipe out a good chunk of those. I mean, because I
Right.
think they come through the portal and they start picking things off. I think you can deal with the doppelganger team largely from this. Is that the tentacles start coming through and just pulling things in, and
so it's eating it beyond the rift, or
the-
does it have mouths on the tentacles?
I think
I
it's
think
gonna
there's
eat anything
eyes
it
and
touch.
teeth and all kinds of shit on these tentacles. I think it's disgusting, and I think the good guy
Well,
team
these
is
are notes we need to give her.
let's get our shit and get out of here before this is problematic. But I think that you're going to
Which
have enough.
doppelgangers did you kill?
I killed
Hammond?
and Wilhelm.
So Meredith and Meredith are still fighting.
Right, Meredith.
Yeah, that was blow for blow. I
Right.
remember.
So Robert was taken down. Meredith and Zara are still in the action. So Robert's knocked out. Wilhelm and Hammond are gone. They're dead.
Okay, so Mary and Zara need to be killed.
Right. And that was the last of the doppelgangers, right?
Well, it was only the four. So
Plus
yeah.
five.
Robert.
So that leaves the
So
two.
he's down, and then Wilhelm and Hammond are gone. So those two need to die.
So we could have
My feeling on this was the girls always had to switch places because they're both too competent. That the only way for Meredith to defeat Meredith is not to fight her, is have Zara do it. because at least...
I don't know that Zara could take her.
Well, maybe with some help. I mean, she's got
I
Karen
think Philip's going to have to do it.
I don't think they have to defeat them. I think we have tentacles.
True.
That's true. It's
But
going to have to
I'd
be
kill
something.
one,
Here's
not
what I'm
both.
thinking. I think that
Don't rob them of the
because of our
conflict.
habit of killing Bobs, I think we have to have Roberta threatened here. I think Roberta is picked up by a tentacle, and it looks like she's about to die.
Maybe it's strangling her.
You need to have what now?
Roberta almost die.
She's going to get bit by the tentacles.
Right,
If
I'm
you
saying they
pick
pick
her
her up and they, like, give her a good thrashing or something like that, and it looks like another Bob is
So
dead.
the readers think that, she's a foregone conclusion. She gets sucked towards a portal, but then
Right,
something
but it
happens.
doesn't happen. Yeah, yeah.
Someone cuts off a limb.
At the
or
last minute,
whatever.
Crow comes to her rescue or something like that. Or,
No. Why the hell would Crow give a shit?
I don't know, somebody. Well, yeah, somebody. We need Wilhelm and Crow. So
What about
so
Jennifer?
maybe
Well,
maybe Philip helps her.
I was
or-
going to say Desmond's firing fireballs. Maybe he severs a
Oh, yeah,
limb.
maybe Jennifer does save her. They give her a good reason to save Jennifer later.
But Jennifer's trying to close the portal.
Yeah, no, but Desmond's firing fireballs or some sort of ray or something out of his wand. So I'm saying is, like, he's not actually
Here's
saving
my issue.
Roberta. He's accidentally
No.
severs a limb.
Does
'cause he's
Roberta
just
need a
firing in the hole.
fucking white knight? That bitch can settle shit herself.
Okay, maybe she's got like some
She
really
busts
good
out a
buck
knife
knife
and
or some
hacks
kind.
hacks the
Bitch,
tentacle
don't
off.
touch me.
Yeah.
It's got to be a big knife though. We're talking crocodile
I don't give a
Dundee.
shit if she pulls an axe off her back. I think that
I mean, these are
Roberta
fat
is not a
tentacles.
damsel in distress. She
This
is
is like-
taking care of shit
That's
herself.
true. I
Epic
mean,
level
she probably
python.
kicked Caleb's ass, so.
Yeah.
So,
no,
big
Roberta's
knife.
got this shit.
Okay.
So how do you want me to end it to where it looks like she's dying?
Well,
no,
I'm
no,
saying
no.
it doesn't need to end that
No,
way.
no,
it
no,
just
this
looks
is the
like,
suspense.
you know,
Oh,
you're
so
starting to
for
read
a
it.
minute, they're like, oh, there goes Bob, and then
Right.
she rescues herself.
Yeah, maybe you switch to something else.
Yeah, maybe
going
Caleb's
on,
like, oh,
and
it's
then you
got
come
Bob.
back,
Here
and then
goes
she-
another one.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, yeah, maybe she gets out and it's, don't count me out yet, bitch.
Caleb's like, this is why I
Can
don't
I
get
use
attached.
if you want.
You know?
What's that?
I said maybe Caleb's like, this is why I don't get attached.
We don't let him hoes.
Damn it, I liked that shirt. Okay.
This motherfucker bit me.
You know what? Maybe that's the new thing. We just keep putting Roberta in near-death experiences over and over again.
But she's smart enough to get
It's the
out
curse
of
of the Bob. She's just the toughest Bob so far.
Yeah. That's
So
funny.
I dig it.
Now, what have we left out? What do you need to fill this out?
Well, okay.
So I think that we need to decide where this chapter is.
Well, you need to get Robert out of danger because
Well-
he's on the ground now. Now I realize Crow's on top of him. So is Crow just dragging him out of there?
Yeah,
Crow
I
and
think so.
Wilhelm are right now trying to stuff a soul in him. So I think that we need to
You
settle
think they're
and-
doing that in the field?
Once tentacles come through the gate, it is not safe there. They've got to get him out of there.
Yeah, I feel like this is something they do after
Especially
battle,
once they
so-
start snatching things.
How is this body staying alive with no soul? That's what I want to know.
Well, it's technically dying, but I mean, you got some
Brain
time
dead?
while it's
Yeah, you
Like,
probably
what
have
is
so
it? Do
many
they have a
minutes to
time
get
frame?
3 minutes.
Yeah, you probably have like a few minutes to get a soul in it.
I mean, time loss is brain
And what?
loss.
They're walking him home in 3 minutes? How is this going to work?
No, I don't think they're walking him home. I think that
backing him off?
maybe what'll have to happen is like one of the tentacles snatches like Dark Mary or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to have.
And
happen.
then the two girls can defend against Dark Zara and the tentacles while the boys get the soul into Robert or something like that.
You know what might be fun?
That's fine.
And then maybe it looks like
I
they're
feel
being
like
overwhelmed.
It has to happen on the battlefield.
Maybe it looks like they're being overwhelmed, and Hammond shows up with the mech and like starts taking them down or something like that.
Well, what I was actually going to say, before you introduce the mech, because that's a whole, whole, saving the day kind of scenario going, right? If all is lost. In other words, the battle's going hard, things are getting sucked in the portal, everyone's in conflict, nobody knows where we're going, all kinds of things are going wrong, right? And then there's a booming voice of, Azeroth or whatever the hell the demon's name is. Just, bow before me, or some kind of crap, some epic level, just booming voice, like thunder from the clouds kind of thing going on.
Ooh, maybe a big, hear me out, a large, beak with an eye in the middle starts to penetrate the...
Yeah, like an octopus.
Like a squid.
Or
Yeah.
is that a squid? Yeah.
starts to penetrate the portal, so it starts
But
to
just
actually
one
come
eye?
through. So it
I don't
looks
think
like
it'll
it's...
fit through.
It looks like it's about to actually pull itself through the portal,
Like
like
it's
it's
stretching it,
yeah.
yeah.
And then they're like, fuck. And they gotta shut that shit down right there.
Yeah, but everyone just stops in the middle of conflict, like arms raised, daggers out, about to stab each other, and everyone just kind of looks over their shoulder at this thing. Is it just
maybe
booming?
the magic is trying to shrink the portal, but the tentacles are there trying to pull it open, and that's when the eye and the thing start coming through?
And maybe that's when Hammond shows up and starts shooting this thing right in the eye or something like that.
To get it to back
Why
up
have
so
you
that
summoned
it can
me,
close?
or whatever, some sort of like.
Wait, you wanted
creepy-
this thing to speak?
Yeah, just briefly,
Well,
just
okay.
to scare the
but,
shit out of
but I
everyone.
was like, I've come for the pig or something like that, because I think this is what was originally summoned.
No,
what they
I've
were
come
trying
for
to
my
summon.
Why would
sacrifice.
Desmond summon a giant monster?
To take out all of the. Notice it's eating the Fey things coming through.
I'm not
Oh
feeling
yeah,
that.
that's right. It was originally the plan was he wanted to rid the world of Fey, so this thing is like a giant Fey eater.
He wanted to rid the world of all things supernatural.
Right.
I don't
Yeah, that's
think
what
he
I
would
mean.
bring this through.
So the idea
Well,
was.
since it
I
was a
think
good
that
plan.
the portal is opened because Talbot put something in a place where there was residual magic in
Well,
order to pop the...
Right, but
Dale is probably the most magical thing here.
I did
aside from
originally
that,
intend that you
Maybe
it was
so.
going to summon some sort of elder god to bring an end to all this.
Right.
This might be that.
I didn't get that impression. I thought we were putting power into Desmond with that original magic.
Well, here's the thing, though. Even if this is the creature Desmond wanted, he doesn't want it anymore.
Well, and he doesn't want it like this. He thought he might take on the power of such a thing.
Right. So my point
not
was,
bring it through.
all combat stops. Everyone looks at this thing. Everyone's scared shitless. And then Hammond just comes over and just is machine gunning things.
right. It's just mowing shit down.
Or laser gun, or lightning gun,
whatever
we were
it is,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Firing a
taking
bunch
shit
of arrows, something mechanical. I don't know. Maybe some sort of piston rod or what do they call it? Pistoning like knife. Some big old knife just coming out.
So that's
the
it.
forearm.
So they got. So at this point, they force the beak in the eye back through, and Desmond closes the portal, severing what tentacles are left on this side, and dropping him down, which knocks he himself out.
Would this not reform Desmond, though? I mean, like, all of my plans have come to this. I summon a giant spider. I summon this thing. At a certain point, he's got to be like, this isn't working.
Maybe he would back off on magic a little bit. At least temporarily. But I mean, we're talking giant ego, and he just is thinking that something hacked or jumped on.
I mean, I think we're on the downslope at this point, right? So this is now we know the problem person. Now we put him away. So
Yeah. I mean, the villains have
now
been
it's going to be
revealed.
hunt Desmond down and bring him to justice.
Yeah, but right now they're too busy dealing with Robert and surviving.
Sure. So in the meantime, he gets to get away.
Of course.
Hammond's suit. Let's figure out what that's supposed to look like.
Well, it was a treasure chest of
I like
wood
what
and
you
brass.
described. Yeah, I like the.
There was gears, probably
It
some
basically looks like a giant leather, wood, and metal diving suit
Yeah.
with parts of a chest as part of its armor frame.
and some sort of smokestack kind of thing for steam, so you can do that wonderful whistle noise like a train or something.
Okay.
Oh, and you wanted to like some sort of tubes of green vials coming out of his back or something.
Okay. Yeah, I think he did mention that. All right. So basically, Hammond shows up and is shooting the thing that's trying to force its way through, which just pushes it back enough that the portal can close at the direction of the villains, who are actually saving the day at this very moment.
Maybe gonna fight an elder god. I think lightning's the way to go.
Yeah, maybe.
Lightning? Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about having like some sort of electrical attack.
Okay.
Maybe he's got some kind of Van Graff generator in his back. I don't know.
All right. So shooting electrical / lightning shit at the monster.
Yeah, I'm almost seeing a proton pack now. Some big like circular thing on his back.
And then, I don't know, are you getting rid of Dark Zara? Or are you letting her get away?
Well, there's two of the girls. I
No,
think one should
Mary's
be a
got to
fight.
be eaten by the...
Yeah, she's too powerful.
Yeah,
And
she's...
yeah, one's
I don't
tentacled.
think that our team can take her, to be honest. I mean, you're taking Mary and then adding evil, which takes away any, like...
Honor she had.
Any honor, any, sense of
Fair play.
preservation of the people around her. That's too dangerous.
Right.
Like, there's no way they'd take her, to be honest.
Which would leave one doppelganger.
And
Dark
you would
Zara.
have to take away all the hesitation of their team to kill
But you got a
what
whole
looks
team
like
to
Mary.
tackle her.
Right, so the question is, does she get killed? Does she get away?
Maybe she attacks Philip, and that's what brings Wilhelm out.
There you go. And then she's dead.
He would tear her in half.
I mean, either way, he's a werewolf,
he's
regardless of anything else.
Which I don't think we've seen Wilhelm get truly violent.
Take a hunk of meat out of her shoulder.
I don't think that he needs to, like, full-on change either. It just needs to be enough that he, like, kind of hulks up a little bit and snap her neck. I mean, it really doesn't have to be. He's strong. He's a werewolf.
So anticlimactic.
No, I want to see her.
You want him to eat her?
His collarbone.
Well,
I want her collarbone going. Just a big gaping hole.
I mean, I was even fine with him just like literally throwing her like a quarter mile away or something like that.
I mean, he can
or
bite her and
snapping
toss
her like a
Because
stick.
you don't survive that kind of throw.
Just like taking each half of her and just bending the back the wrong way.
How's it any different than a broken neck?
Somehow more brutal, because then the body's laying at a
What if he
really
just
weird
claws her?
angle, and there's just seepage of
Like
fluid.
he half shifts and.
I don't really care, but yeah, it's not a bad thought that she injures Philip and he loses his shit.
And then there's claw marks, because, claws on his hands. I don't know. Something entirely too violent.
Okay.
All right. Are we good?
Overreaction is what we're looking for.
Are we good to take our break yet?
Yeah,
I mean,
think so.
I think I've got a lot of notes for this chapter, so yeah, we can move on to the next.
Great.
All right. We'll be right back.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Our friend Tyr here, also known as Nova Drake, author. You can follow her on Twitter. She wrote a book. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
About it? Okay. Well, I can tell you a little bit about it. So it's a dystopian fantasy about a girl living in a world that is pretty much deprived of any kind of, just legal system. A lot of corruption, a lot of greed, a lot of crime. And she was wronged. And so she's trying to make her own justice in a world that's not doling it out.
Totally feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can read a little bit about it if you like.
Sure, yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. 5 years ago, Justice lost everything she lived for. Alone in a world ravaged by corruption, greed, and crime, there's no justice to be found in the system, so she'll just have to make her own. A trained fighter and rogue, Justice has no problem cracking a few skulls to get the answers she needs, but things get dicey when she finds herself in the sights of a skilled assassin with a reputation that far exceeds her own. Not that she'll ever admit that. Ezra has finally escaped the men that owned him for as long as he can remember, but all he's managed to do is traded life in a cage for one hiding in the shadows. Reduced to nothing more than a distant nightmare, he's no longer sure he hasn't become the very monster they made him into, until one cocky, frustrating woman sees past the shadows and refuses to be afraid.
Nice. So you want to tell our fans where to find this?
So right now it's available for pre-order on Amazon. So just go to Amazon and look up The Cost of Justice by Nova Drake, and you should be able to pre-order it.
Sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to read it.
Great.
All right, we're back. And now we're going to talk about what chapter we're going into?
20.
20. So we just talked about 19. We're about to talk about 20.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So, monster crisis averted, right? Ish.
Kind of. Now there's moving tentacles on the ground.
Yeah. How do we end this? So, I mean, like,
Well, you got some
portal
options,
closes.
okay?
Desmond's team runs off because they're decimated, and
And Desmond's knocked out, so they're leaderless, essentially.
I definitely think that while the cult is doing the magic to close the portal, the tentacles start picking off people in the cult.
Okay.
So I think that we definitely take a few down.
I did say that I wanted a lot of them to run off. Like, screw this crap.
Right.
I mean, that can happen. But, by the time the portal is finally closed, like Jennifer is spent from the magic,
Sure.
what's left of the cult is same. And then it's Desmond's unconscious. Roberta's injured from being picked up. And her and Caleb are dragging Desmond out of...
True, there might even be like a little piece of tentacle fang stuck in her or something like that.
I have an idea for
Something.
chapter 21, which will be back on your shoulders. And it's up to you if you want to go with it. But I feel like if they've tapped all of London, they're out of minions to hire.
Maybe.
I mean,
So you're saying it's down to
Jennifer
just the
can't
3
get
of
any
them,
more
or
recruits.
4 rather?
Desmond can't get them.
Here's your other
Caleb
thing.
can't.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of them. But also, at some point word's getting out that it ain't worth the money.
Right.
They just kill people.
And also,
In
the
the sewers.
supernatural has been revealed to people. So joining a cult where there's magic done is not going to be appealing to all these people who were just listening to Talbot preaching about how this is unnatural
Well,
and this needs to be eliminated.
And that might be something to show, is that the ranks start swelling behind Talbot, maybe at
Well,
this
I
point.
don't know. That could actually help Desmond, because Desmond's all about bringing an end to all this unnaturalness.
But he's doing it through magic.
Right, but I don't know. There might be a few people going, ends justify the means. It might actually swell his ranks. Talbot might have inadvertently kept us going.
Maybe, I don't know. I guess we'll see when we get there.
At best, I think it would be split. You would have some people completely avoiding him and seeing him as like a black magic
Yeah, some
cult.
people see him as part of the problem.
Right, and then maybe some people are like, well, he's got the same end goal. The ends justify the means.
Right, or fight fire with fire or something like that.
Right. So yeah, maybe you have a couple of fanatics who are willing to do the hypocritical thing like Desmond is.
Right.
But I think
that was my thought. Fire for fire.
And I think that you have a lot who would completely see it as exactly what Talbot's preaching against.
Right. Okay, so
But
go ahead.
Were you completed? Did you feel you had more than your 5 minutes? Did that tell you what you needed?
Yes, I have plenty. I think.
Okay, then we're on mine.
I have a pretty good paragraph here.
I had an idea for Loki.
When the tentacles have been severed, and they fall.
Right.
After Hammond has come in and knocked that demon back through, or monster, or whatever it is. Wilhelm and Crow are still trying to bring Robert back, right?
Right. Yeah, I think that whole chapter, while it looks long, is actually taking place over the course of 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. I'm trying to figure out where I'm ending.
The
There's not
minions
really
run
a
off.
dramatic end there.
I think the ending is the portal slams shut, the tentacles fall.
And Desmond's out. You want me to just leave him there?
No, they were supposed to walk off like they're outnumbered.
No. I think it should end with tentacle falls, slams on Desmond. Maybe he shrieks as the tentacle hits him. End.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I'll be dealing with that.
So you got to make the villains run away?
And I think that's a great ending. Just slam the door. That's
All
basically
right,
what you did.
All right, so. All right. Villains outnumbered.
So I have
And
this
run
random
off.
note from you guys in my chapter that just says, have Dale do something. That was plotting from the last episode.
Right.
What exactly do you
Well,
want
Dale
to
never
do?
got epic, right?
Yeah, no, I
mean,
want him to go full on human form with his 3'9" or whatever he is, and just punch somebody
Or
at
hell,
just the right time.
maybe
to be
he's
useful.
what takes down
I
Zara.
was gonna say there has to be some sort of magic involved. If
Maybe
he's
he
so
takes down Dark
magical,
Zara.
what is so magical about Dale?
Well, we've only seen him in pig form and little man
Can
form,
he have
right?
third
Yeah,
form?
but he hasn't done
Can he
anything
have
in Little Man
third
form.
form?
'Cause that's what I
like
was-
giant
I think werewolves
man
do,
pig.
right? Werewolves have wolf form, man form,
And werewolf
form.
Pretty ridiculous werewolf.
You want to
form.
go wereborn?
What I'm saying is we've never seen Dale in that intermediate form. We've seen him straight from pig to little man. We've never seen him in this full rage
Can we
thing.
have him like Hulk up into a
So,
giant,
like 7 foot, you think?
with the tusks and everything?
Yeah, like
that's
a
what I'm saying,
man
yeah.
boar thing. Yeah.
Huh.
Man, bear, pig?
It's got to put somebody in danger that he cares about.
Like,
That would make him.
could you
do it.
imagine him a total monster? Yeah, maybe one of the tentacles is about to slam down or something
Could
like
be
that.
Hammond, because he always has the ham sandwiches.
Yeah, well, that's the funny
Hammond's
thing is
already dead.
Hammond has dismissed him this whole time, and
Well,
I think that
which one of the
Zara
girls was
being in
cuddling him?
danger-
You know, it was like petting him or
Mary
something.
and Zara, I think he has a soft spot for the girls.
that's true.
Well, didn't we say Meredith versus Meredith was a bit much of a combat?
Yeah, but we also said the tentacle just picked her off. I don't know. It's up to
Okay,
you,
so maybe
man.
Zara does something epic that's keeping everyone at stay somehow. I don't know.
Okay, so we're
Or
giving
Desmond
Dale a
turns
third
his
form.
aim after the portal closes on the crew.
Wait, what?
Desmond turns his aim
No,
after
we
the
said
portal
the tentacle
closes.
No,
falls.
the tentacle knocks him out.
Oh, damn it, yeah. Then it doesn't happen yet, but it's got to happen soon.
I don't know.
I think that I gotta put Zara in danger.
Yeah, you can use it however you like. I think it's a cool idea that Dale does have a full like nasty were form.
I just want to.
We've also never
I just want
seen-
payoff.
We've also never seen Wilhelm go into wolf form, just
Well,
werewolf
that's why.
form.
Yeah, that's why I feel like he needs to eat that collar, or something.
Right.
I think we're ramping up, and that epicness has to jump in at some point.
But the question, I guess, is how do you resolve the Robert situation? Because that falls squarely on you.
Right. So, going back to what is supposed to be my segment, Phil's outnumbered and run off. Jennifer's exhausted. Wilhelm and Crow research how to resurrect, and
They should know that by now. In fact, Wilhelm had the eureka moment in my chapter.
And Meredith's panicking.
Of course, the one chance to have her husband back
Right,
is slipping
right.
through their fingers if they don't get him back.
Right. Like, I mean, regardless of everything going on around them, which I have to feel that there's still some not
There's
friendly
chaos,
fey
yeah.
creatures. There are giant tentacles that are still moving and possibly inching towards them. So there's a lot of shit going on. And even if Crow and Wilhelm have dragged Robert to where he's back further from the fight, the rest of the team's got to be there defending him.
Yeah, look, I mean, the rift slams shut. Several tentacles are still here. And they're, that have fallen in it. They'll be active for a short period of time before they die off. And then you have these fey creatures that were half in, half out of the rift that are now severed in half. And then all these fey creatures that weren't in the rift that are angry and scared.
Right. Well, not all of them are going to be angry. I feel like some are going to run. Some are pretty tame. Some are off to just hide. But I think there's definitely some hostile stuff there.
Sure.
So I think that
There's a lot going on, though.
Hammond is going to have to take on the tentacles in his suit.
Right.
Oh,
Well, until they're severed. But in his... But that's
No, once they're severed.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Okay,
Right?
so we're going to
Fry
keep them
them.
alive then.
The tentacles are still moving once they've hit the ground. Now, they obviously have an expiration date, but I think that within his electrical suit, he can fry them,
Maybe
right?
Poppy can use a couple freeze potions on him, too, or something like
Poppy's still there in the fight, too. Actually, even Poppy being in danger could set Dale off. So I think
don't
that
know if Dale has a tie with
maybe
Poppy
you
yet.
have Wilhelm and Crow, kind of behind the lines with the rest of our team, kind of circling them to protect them.
Now, what happened? We wanted Wilhelm to Hulk out, so we put
We
Philip
put
in
Philip
danger.
in danger.
how, is he injured? Because this is bleeding
Philip?
into my chapter. I need to know
I
what's
want
going
Philip I'm going to injure him. I
Like
think
how bad?
Evil Czar is going to stab him. Nothing he can't heal from.
on. Right. But he's not going to be of any use in this coming combat.
I think that he's out of the fight.
Okay.
I think that he's over by Robert, kneeling next to Wilhelm. Wilhelm will be his clothes are going to have to be kind of ruined from his half shift.
Right.
But I mean, ultimately, he took care of that, and then Philip calmed him back down and got him back over by Robert to deal with the soul.
Okay, so
Robert's got to be reanimated in your
so
chapter.
they drag Philip's corpse
Yeah, he's out of
near
time.
where Willem and Crow are doing research next to Robert. So there's no one
Philip's
having to watch
not
it.
a corpse. Is that what you just said?
Huh? The corpse of Robert.
He's a husk.
Oh, Robert. Okay.
Oh, yeah, Philip's still alive.
Yeah, I thought he said
He's
Philip,
just
not
injured.
Robert.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking like stabbed in the shoulder or something like that. Nothing that he can't heal from for Philip.
Yeah, I'm just trying to take notes so that so we don't have too many conflicts. We're going to, because we're a few behind on episodes, and we're going to try and cram a few all together.
Yeah, Odin likes to take a lot of vacations.
It is summer.
So. Okay, so do you have an idea how you're going to reanimate Robert? So basically what we're having is a scene where rogue tentacles, angry, scared fey creatures, but the Desmond's team has run off. So we don't have to worry about them. But did we decide that, Dark Zara was taken care of in your chapter tier, or is that being taken care of in Odin's chapter?
I think that I'm going to have to deal with Dark Zara.
Yeah, I think the
putting
fight's over.
good
by now.
Zara in danger, and that's when Dale hulks out and kills her.
So all you've got to worry about is, of course, the leftovers from the portal closing.
Yeah, them limping back home after resurrection. All that whole scene.
That's really not even necessary. All you've got to worry about... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, the wrap-up.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, so you have to fight those Fae, get Robert back in his body, and you're good. So it's actually a pretty simple chapter, I think.
Maybe. It might not be simple to keep interesting, but I'll do what I can.
You're bringing Robert back to
Yeah,
life.
I know.
And
reuniting Mary
I was
with
thinking
her
it might
And
love.
you have a
It's
lot of upset
emotional.
Fae around you.
I see. I was thinking maybe it'd be kind of fun if one of the components they need to make this happen is one of the creatures that are lumbering around. Like, go give me some unicorn blood.
Yeah.
You know, they're surrounded by spell components. If you think about it, there's all kinds of fake creatures.
It's fucked up. They're living creatures.
Truly, what I think that
They
you
were.
would need. No, I mean he's not so far off. I mean this is magic, and they're bringing someone back to life. In all technicality, a life for a life. They might need to drag over one of the dying creatures
And finish it off.
and use it in the spell.
That's dark.
I'm sorry, it is, but is it not realistic? Like you trade a life for a life.
Or
There's
a few.
something already dying there.
A little
Why
bit
can't
of
they?
leprechaun, a little
It's
bit of
dying.
unicorn.
Like
you know.
they're why can't they use it in their spell?
It's too bad they couldn't have like just tied it to when the portal closed. Be like, we'll just use that. It'd been a lot less dark.
You mean
know?
all the spilling energy?
Yeah. Which I mean,
Well,
still dead
yeah,
people.
but
No,
I mean,
I think that you need to
if
have
you could have
somebody
your way.
drag over a creature that's dying and use that life to reanimate Robert.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not bad. Using the exiting of life as the portal between the
That's
two. Yeah.
What I'm saying.
Well, I was originally thinking it as like fuel for the magic, a catalyst.
Well,
but this is
it's
more, of a
like
transference.
more alchemical, right? You know, law of equal exchange.
Balance. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like a thing's dying, and it's not the soul
Which
you're
might
using,
be a piece
it's
of
the
information
death
No,
that's
it's
Poppy.
not the soul that you're using, it's the death.
As
Yeah,
an
yeah,
alchemist, this
yeah.
might be a piece of information Poppy offers up. Maybe they're having a hard time making this
Oh,
work.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Have
then
Poppy
Poppy's
drag
like-
the dying creature
Like
over.
it's equal exchange. You need a life for a life, and she drags
Yes.
the creature.
There
ooh,
you go.
Ooh, that would be a dark angle for her because she's all prim and proper and beautiful and everything
No,
like that.
she
And she drags this
fucking
thing over
knows.
and takes an athame to its throat and just finishes it off. And it's like, and then people look at Poppy and she's like,
But here's the thing: if
Wow.
something is dying slowly,
I don't see that
it's
coming
not
out
like
of Poppy
that.
though. I mean, of all the characters,
you do
is that
not
more
know this
Poppy
character, I
knew
swear.
Robert. Okay, first of all, this
Zara maybe?
okay, you want to make it less awful. Make the thing in pain. She's putting out its light.
Although
but
Meredith, unfortunately,
it's a
with the book,
mercy.
might actually have that research.
We have described that she is
I
one
think
of the uncanny.
Mary would kill it in a heartbeat.
Well, it's supposed to be all the book she is her knowledge. I mean, this one sacred thing that she's found.
Oh, Poppy?
Yeah, but it might be in that book. It might well.
Well, I'm saying that she has learned this stuff and she has these formulas and she knows how this works. She understands the law
I
of
think that if
equivalent of
you
exchange.
have Poppy find something that's injured and dying on this battlefield, she brings it over to Robert and says, "You
Don't
need to
waste it."
exchange." Yeah, you need to exchange a life for a life. It's the law of equal exchange. I think that Mary would have no problem killing that creature to bring Robert back.
What if it volunteers?
I don't think Poppy has a problem with it. If she's making these potions and she knows how this all works.
What if like the unicorn just walks up and she interprets
Why are you
it?
making it a unicorn?
Because it's
Can't
more,
you make
it's
it
more
something
tragic.
hideous? A goblin, for God's sake.
No one feels for goblins. They're
Exactly.
throwaway. They're like stormtroopers.
That's racist.
You guys are making this darker.
Yes, that's the point. You want to feel that loss.
Gonna kill
Maybe
a
it's a
unicorn.
hobbit.
That's horrible. Can it at
Yeah,
least be one of the
I'm-
zombie?
Just
You know what?
looks-
I'm going to describe
Hobbit?
it all beautiful.
Really?
Like
A hobbit.
shimmery, silvery
I
kind of
don't think we're going to
mane.
use that, to be honest.
Use one of the
That's-
STD pixies.
That's owned. We can't do it. We can't use a hobbit.
What's it? Oh, yeah.
An STD pixie. Yeah, but how, I mean, come on, that's too easy, right? You just crush it in your hand or something like that. Squeeze its juice out on Robert.
Ew.
No. I thought it would be actually kind of beautiful because the unicorn actually sacrifices itself. It chooses this.
Why does it smell like cheap perfume when I squeeze this thing to death?
Why do I feel like that was done?
What?
Sacrificing a unicorn for something else.
Legend?
Was it?
Well, they had to cut off the horn to bring eternal darkness.
Aw.
One of
Remember?
my favorite movies.
Yeah, I felt
Well,
like
that's because
was
it
done
had
something.
Tim Curry as Satan. That
Yeah.
was awesome.
Tom Cruise almost ruined it for me.
Yeah,
but
I know. Tom Cruise.
That's one I would watch if they remade it, but I think they still need Tim Curry.
Yeah, really. I mean, it was epic. Oh my God, the costuming. Considering the
I
day,
feel like Tim Curry
it
should
was
just be
amazing.
in everything ever.
Yeah.
Like he's such a versatile actor.
Well, this thing, we need to come up with immortality before Tim
I
Curry
think that
dies.
I could just watch him in Rocky
Although,
Horror Picture Show.
I was gonna say
24/7.
I think Tim Curry's best in anything he can overact. Like if it's an over-the-top character, he's amazing. I've never seen him play a straight, normal character.
All right, we need to finish this. And
Oh, are we getting to low battery?
no, I'm saying that we have you as usual.
Okay,
You were late
so
to the fight.
Poppy knows to use the law of equal exchange. And then we have to kill something in order to bring Robert back. I think that's a pretty dramatic chapter.
You think?
Okay.
I think so.
Does that,
especially if you're killing something
right.
that's...
well, let me recap. Just let me know if I'm leaving anything on my notes. Vild's outnumbered and run off. Jennifer's exhausted. Wilhelm and Crow research how to resurrect Robert. Philip
No,
is...
they've already researched it. They already know at this point.
Wait,
It's just
is that her chapter?
the spell isn't. No, in my chapter, the spell isn't working right, and Poppy suggests the law of equivalent of exchange. You did not have something to
I think
offer
that Poppy
to get
just
this life back.
brings over a dying creature and
Right,
says,
right, right.
you
No, I
guys
got
are
that. I
forgetting
got that.
this.
But
All they're forgetting is the sacrifice.
I
which
thought Wilhelm would be leaving through some book.
I
You had a book
described
with
that in
him.
my chapter,
That part's already done. Right now
Okay.
they're trying to apply the spell.
and something's not
And
working.
something
That's
is
when
just
Poppy
not doing it.
points out that they're forgetting the law of equivalent exchange and bring over a dying creature to sacrifice to finish the spell. They need to seal the
Okay.
spell with the sacrifice.
have to-
Meredith
have
is
to pay
packing,
for the spell.
panicking. The creatures fight or run. Hammond's gunning down tentacles. That about covers.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I feel like Hammond is covering them. What Hammond and Zara are probably covering them and stuff. You know, just going full warrior mode. Mary's panicking a little bit. The two guys trying to, you know.
Okay, so basically, while all the dramatic stuff is going on in the background, Hammond is lightning gunning creatures and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Well,
have-
I think there's still a lot.
Wilhelm and Crow are trying to bring Robert back.
Yeah.
Philip is injured. Wilhelm has changed and is now back to working on Robert. Hammond is still fighting tentacles. The fake creatures are still there being battled. Poppy knows to use the law of exchange and brings the dying fake creature over. They kill it to make the spell work. And then we have to figure out where do we want to end. Is Robert going to open his eyes?
Or maybe just have him breathing.
Yeah, maybe a deep breath. All right, let's get him home.
Okay.
I guess that's good.
And then, yeah, maybe we have Hammond carry him off in the arms of the mech
the
or
mech
something like
suit?
that.
Okay.
Somebody grab my boots.
Somebody grab my boots.
You might be out of fuel by then, but I don't know.
It's mysterious green goo. He's fine. Mysterious
Okay,
green goo lasts forever.
so, okay, so we just have some tiny symbol that Robert's going to live, right?
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's-
And don't forget, somebody grab my boots.
I mean, that could be in the next chapter, no?
By then, they're home, and his
Alright,
boots are
alright.
still in the battlefield. Where are my boots?
Okay.
I think it's cute to end it on somebody grab my boots.
So maybe Hammond just there's some small sign that Robert's going to live. Hammond comes over and scoops him up. I got him, lass. Someone grab my boots.
All right. Kind of starting a trend of people leaving items behind. It's kind of humorous.
Are we good?
Okay, so we got barbecued tentacles at this point, I assume.
I was
Delish.
just gonna say.
Little calamari.
Exactly.
Something smells good.
Ew.
Something smells fishy. All right, are we good?
Yeah,
I think you could have actually a giant third form Dale pick up Robert.
I can't do the pig voice anymore. I used to do the
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I would assume
I
that.
apologize for that.
I don't think it's gonna say in that werebar form.
All right. Maybe.
Especially
It
if
was-
they're
it
No,
was
no,
a
you know what'd be
thought. It
funny?
was a thought.
He picks up Robert and starts running. Hey, you guys!
Oh my god.
No.
Why?
Well, the thing is that they have to get back into
Yeah.
London without everyone freaking out. Now, granted, the city's still probably on fire.
I think people have thoroughly freaked out. In
I
fact,
think we're past the
they
point
might
of
be
freak out.
exhausted from the freak out.
However,
In fact, I have goblins
you
running
can
around.
always
If you recall.
no, because we're not even going to do the walk home, right?
No.
We'll be back at the Brownstown.
So really, you have an over dramatic, emotional bringing of Robert back and death of a creature in exchange for his life.
All right, so we'll come back after the break and discuss where it's going from there.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the Dark and Stormy Nights is now part of the Big Vasir Media family. Tyr, you want to tell us what Big Vasir Media is?
Sure. Big Vasir Media is basically a network of indie creators. It's a place that you can go to find podcasts and authors and YouTubers, and it's just a group of creators that kind of are working together to get their work out there.
So you should contact us, of course. Let us know if you want to join our network, and we're happy to work with new people. We want to get all the indie family we can get, right?
Absolutely. You can go to vegvasirmedia.com to find out more information about ways to join the network, to network with Dark and Stormy Nights. Or if you are an author and have a book that you would like reviewed, you can go there and go to the book review submissions page and post your book for everybody to see, and anybody can read it and review it. And if the Dark and Stormy Nights select your book to review, you'll have a chance to have your book posted on their blog and then posted right on the web on the podcast as well.
And from what I understand, there's even a way for them to just support us if they wish, right? So they can go there, and if they just love the idea of an indie community. And
absolutely. If they want to support the indie community, there are ways to go through Patreon and also get additional exposure at the same time.
Sounds like a great idea to me.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thanks. Okay, so we're back to Outline Chapter 21, which is going to be mine.
Which we were thinking, instead of like going right into Robert being resurrected and all the aftermath and all the tear jerking that would happen after that.
So I don't get the Sleeping Beauty scene?
And honestly, do you want it?
The Sleeping Beauty scene?
Yeah, where Meredith is crying over him and a single tear drops down and hits his face, and he begins to wake up and they have their magical kiss.
See, I was of the opinion that it'd be best to give the
Romeo
emotional
and
stuff
Juliet,
to
shit.
Tyr, who actually has emotions. And instead, for you, we do something we haven't done in a while. Cut back to the villains and their inability to recruit.
You numbskull!
I mean,
Although
technically, the last
there's some Talbot
chapter had a lot of villains in it.
Fallout.
So, yeah.
It was very villainy.
I don't know. It's up to you guys. How do you want to do it?
I say.
Give me zombie.
Well, you know
Robert
what's funny is we accidentally have a mirror here.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing.
I smell peanut butter.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But Robert doesn't necessarily have to wake up. There could be he's in a coma. We don't know if this worked.
True.
This whole, his body is alive. Where is Ghost Robert? Did we fuck something up and he's gone?
Does it take 3 days?
He's trapped. 3 days.
Does he have to move a giant stone?
Yeah.
Remember,
make him Jesus.
We have both Robert and Desmond unconscious in the same chapter. Or at the same time.
Wait, Desmond?
Right.
Yeah,
Oh.
Desmond got knocked the
Desmond
fuck
got
out.
Oh, I thought he was just buried. He's knocked out.
Yeah, he got knocked out.
Well, see, that could be fun because then you can have the second tier people. So you got Roberta and Caleb and Jennifer, all like just, what are we doing now?
I don't want to do this to myself, but I was almost thinking that I can have a chapter that is Desmond's nightmare. As
that's
he's
fun.
knocked out.
Oh,
I like that.
interesting.
Especially after
He
meeting
has a lot of
uh,
internalized like angst and fear.
Right,
Right.
but he just met the very thing he might have possibly been summoning. Who knows? But it's there's a certain existential, I don't know. Just facing your demons.
Well, see, that's what I'm wondering.
going near
Is
death.
it so? He's freaking out as they're closing the portal. In fact, I can start this before he actually gets knocked out. Right? I can actually start this chapter as they're trying to shut the portal. He starts freaking out. What's going on in his mind? What's happening?
Okay.
And
So you're saying jump back a touch from his perspective, and
Right.
then the reader doesn't know that he's unconscious?
well, no, I think that we're watching him freak out.
Mhm.
Right? Something's in his head, and he's like, "What's going on?" Because I think the thing is maybe communicating directly into his mind.
Telepathically?
Right.
Well, that's the thing is that your Lovecraftian horrors tend to cause madness.
Right, and it's driving, and it's
So maybe he
affecting
fades to black, but then
And
he's in
so
another room, or who knows?
the portal closes and then slam, and then he wakes up into some kind of nightmarish hell.
Oh, he thinks he's in the Fey realm.
And yeah, I think he thinks he's either dead or in the Fey realm.
Interesting, or whatever the Lovecraftian thing
But
comes from.
he
that's
might be
using
trapped in some kind of.
Fey realms of
So
bypass.
it's an interesting idea, and I just want
I
to
love
make sure
it.
you're thinking out the consequences.
Oh, this is going to be a horrific chapter
Well,
to write
I feel
if I
like
do
he
this.
might actually
No.
reform.
The consequences of Desmond, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, is who do you want him to come out of this as? Because it may change him.
Yeah, but it could also change him to be even more
Right.
Nazi-esque. You know what I'm saying? He could now more than ever want to destroy everything
Recommit himself to his
mystical. So I don't know. It's I see it your way.
I think that he would have some fear about the magic he's doing.
Oh yes.
I think that if this thing reaches him on a telepathic level, and drags him into a nightmare.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Wait a minute. I don't mean to go this way, but unfortunately, everything good has been written anyways. I kind of feel like maybe if he thinks that like all his dabbling in magic is only served to cause more chaos and more destruction, then the enemy itself is magic. Well, there are other magical beings out there to kill.
His goal has always been to kill all the magical
Well,
beings.
that was supernatural, but I'm saying like people who are actually physically wielding magic. So
He is
unfortunately, it becomes a
physically
bit of
wielding
Doctor
magic.
Strange here with
So-
what's that guy? I can't remember the villain.
Dormammu?
No.
Chuck?
The guy who trained him with the 9-part staff or whatever and the jumping boots.
Okay.
He ends up in the post-credit scene going, I see what the problem is now. It's us.
Yeah.
And I don't want to rip that off, but I'm just saying is that could be a turn that he
Okay.
would go down.
What if he has an epiphany to make some ridiculously dangerous steampunk machine to take all these things out? So let's get away from the magic and let's create a contraption to destroy these things.
Now we're in the Ghostbusters reboot.
All right, and that's fine too. Here's the other question.
I was thinking more like Wild Wild West.
How does he escape the dream that this thing is holding him in?
Could we go back and...
Jennifer.
Jennifer's going to pull him out?
I think she uses magic to wake him up.
I don't think that suits her at all. That's not to her benefit.
That's true. She
He's
would
unconscious. She
she'd
would
be
take
like,
the
fuck
book
this
and
guy, grab the
bolt.
book and leave. Yeah.
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 if he's unconscious, yeah, she might.
There's nothing
The only
keeping
thing
her
that
from
would-
That's a good
everything
point.
that she's been looking for.
You're right. Caleb would be the one to try and...
Maybe so.
It took me a moment to catch up with the conversation because you mentioned Wild Wild West on purpose, and that really hurt my brain.
The giant crab contraption
Nobody
thing.
intentionally references that movie unless they're making fun of it, and that was just...
I mean,
No.
it was
I mean
steampunky.
steampunk? Yeah.
If you want
It
to see
was
it done badly, yes.
Bad. It was probably bottom of the barrel steampunk, but it was steampunk.
It's still steampunk.
Oh, God.
And it's Kevin Kline, right?
I was going to
adore
say,
him.
other
Right,
than the
right.
actor...
Yeah,
I
Kevin Kline's
adore
cool.
him no matter what. I don't give a
so
shit what he
bad.
does. I adore Kevin Kline.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to derail. It's just, it's so bad.
So yeah, maybe that's what it is in the end, like Caleb's like, all right, well, bring him out, use magic or something, wake him up, and she's like, fuck this guy, he nearly got us killed,
And then Roberta solves the problem by splashing water on him.
No. I think Roberta's gonna back Jennifer in the end. I think that Caleb fucking slaps him.
You think that's going to do it?
I don't know.
It
That's
depends
going to
on
release a
how much
telepathic
time
hold?
has passed in Dream World.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, the things die. What's left here of the tentacles?
Is
Wait.
the tentacles have a
Wait.
hold on him?
Wait. I have it. And you can feel free to reject, but I think it's interesting.
No.
He does reform. It's this huge, beautiful arc of redemption. And he's ready to change his life and embrace things and start anew. But we never see that Desmond again because that's not the soul living in him anymore.
Oh,
Wait,
that's
what?
not bad. He's taken over. I'm done.
Right.
Forgive me. I will never do this again. I will never meddle in the darkness.
I see my error.
That's too bad for you.
It's much too late for that.
I see that this vessel needs a new owner.
I mean, he's wrapped in the
That
newly
is
appendage of love.
interesting.
from the
Here's the
great-
problem. So it's
I
an
love it.
interesting concept. That is going to make Desmond more powerful, though he's limited by the vessel, I would assume.
But he no longer needs the book.
He's smarter, though. Yes, he
He'd
has
still covet it. I think.
ancient knowledge.
But he's ruthless.
Ancient knowledge. And I would think he's much smarter now.
At least different information.
And
Well,
in
sure.
the
Knowledge you
end
shouldn't
of
have.
this book, Jennifer's throwing him under the bus and he gets caught. And then he's supposed to answer to Talbot in the very end.
I would say
He's
that.
more dangerous than Talbot now.
Yeah.
I would
I
say.
love it.
Well, I would say that.
Here's the thing. You're going to lose all of the Desmond that was affected by the end game.
Okay.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. Is it?
No, but it makes some previous chapters irrelevant.
You know what? It also means that Desmond might have actually won.
So if you want to do
Maybe
this
it's still
route,
in
I
there.
think we need to go back and
What if
just
it's-
hack out entire chapters of the book.
Wait,
What?
wait,
No.
why?
What if
What's
it's still in there?
What am I
What if
missing?
he is still in there?
What do you mean? They merge?
Well, I'm saying that the thing kind of takes his mind over, and he's
But
still
he's
there witnessing
his
it
soul's
nightmarishly.
still in there.
Yeah,
He's
and
just
it's
not
just trying to
driving.
fight for control or something like that.
I'm not against it.
So that's a dark half thing, and he's fighting his self?
Well,
Yeah, he's fighting the demon that's
I don't
in
think
him.
we're
or
aware
something.
of it for a long time. Maybe not even in this book. Who knows? I don't know.
What was that? Shit, I just watched something where there was kind of some interesting things, like something had possessed a person, and it was like able to control certain parts of them, and they were able to tap out Morse code with their finger, but they weren't able to control the mind or whatever.
Well,
The 100.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Rick and Morty when he was singing the song "Please Kill Me, Make the Stop."
So there's a
Tiny Rick.
piece of them, like they're able to control little pieces. So yeah, maybe Desmond is like fighting to gain control of his body once again, after this thing takes him over and drives this dark, this dark agenda.
You can. I think this is Desmond's worst nightmare. I think it would change him in ways that like would completely reroute the character.
No, but instead of a redemptive arc, now you might have made it worse if he ever becomes human again. Because he hates this thing so much that any sense of learning and personal growth arc might well be overshadowed with even more fear.
I don't hate the idea that his hypocrisy has basically swallowed him whole at this point. But at the same time, it definitely changes the plot line of our story as a whole.
Well, he could be limited by
How
his
damaging
music.
do you think this is to the future of the story?
Now,
I
hold
mean,
on. He might
I
have
think it
powers and
changes
knowledge.
things. In fact, I think that in edits, if we do this, we go back and just hack out Desmond's backstory.
Why?
I
It
don't.
doesn't
I think
apply
it's still
anymore.
in there. I think no.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Because you said like he was given a medallion or a coin, right?
He was created by Talbot.
Right, but
He was made by Talbot. He was framed. The man that he met in
Right.
his backstory
right.
But
was
time, I get it.
Talbot haunting him with that coin.
But that's what I'm saying is I think that maybe Talbot in the
and
end
he
is-
overcame.
recognizes that this is not my puppet, this is something else.
Right, but he's in jail, so screw him.
Yeah, but the bottom line is that if you're changing who Desmond is in the end of the story, his backstory is no longer relevant. Talbot's barely relevant now.
I don't know. You can put him on ice for a while.
Because the person he created is gone.
This only has to last a couple chapters.
It's as much as we
So
wanted
what?
to. Hold on. You got Department 666 or whatever it is.
Right.
MI
666.
Yeah. Okay, he does go to jail. We're originally going to bust him out. It was a whole reveal with Talbot. I get that. But we could just put him on ice. They just got to have some sort of magical containment of some kind. After all the crap that they've been through, they have a whole division.
Look, we have disloyal ass Caleb actually working for Talbot. Not.
Right.
That can still be true.
What I'm saying is you've got Caleb working for Talbot. You've got Jennifer, of course, covering her own ass.
Right.
If you have something take over Desmond, there's two different people who have a reason to get him out of this state.
Who?
Normal Desmond.
Caleb and Talbot.
Well, you also have Jennifer because this guy's going to be a lot harder as a demon thing to fool, to get the book from, to achieve her
I
agendas.
thought she got the book when he was unconscious.
She could have just left, but I don't think it was. I don't think she.
I mean, the second he's unconscious and nobody's looking and all the Bobs are dead, I'd take the book and run.
So we're going to leave it with just what Caleb and
And Roberta. Well, maybe maybe not Roberta. It depends on what Jennifer does and how much
You
she gives a
can't do
crap.
that either.
Why not?
I think it's
'Cause
too
that's the
early
end of
for
the
all
book.
that.
Jennifer makes off with the book. The whole fucking story
Yeah,
is about.
it's too early for all that.
getting these
That's what I'm
books.
saying. I think the demon covets the book.
Well, then maybe he's unconscious state only lasts minutes then. Like you
could
can do a
have
whole
a
dream
nightmare
sequence
within
in your
moments.
head.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
I mean, that
you
you're
feel like
trapped
you
there.
lived entire years in 30
Right,
seconds in dream
right.
state.
Here's the thing. He's unconscious on that field. That dream
This
state
could all be happening now. Yes.
on the
Yeah.
trip home, before
So-
they even make it back to the catacombs, he could be. They set him down, smack him, and he's away.
So
well, it
maybe
could be
Jennifer
suppose-
runs back for the book. Caleb's dragging Desmond back, and they get
Jennifer's
back
about
to
to
the
walk out with the book.
Right.
He sits up on the slab, and just in that time, I was just about to try and bring you back. That's she's got the book in her
I
hand.
think he
That's
would
entirely
smack talk some
possible.
evil crap like, "Sure you were."
Well, it's
just like,
not him anymore.
Right, right.
So it's
like he sees everything for what it is. Put
Right.
it back.
what kind of bumbling idiot did I overtake?
So I think that at that point, when she's
Time to put a house in order.
okay, here's the thing. You're right. At this point, when Jennifer sees that this is no longer her bumbling, arrogant Desmond that would have been easy to fool, yeah, maybe she joins in with Caleb and realizes they need to get that thing out of him.
Right. And now it's any chance they get.
See, that's interesting. That creates another arc, and it drags it out, because I
If she
feel
wants
like
that book,
we're halfway
she's
through,
got a
but
new
it feels like we're at
enemy.
the end. So this is better.
We're ahead
This
of
drags it
schedule.
out nice.
Yeah, and this is a good little, but it allows him to amass power or a plan that he wouldn't normally have on his own really quickly. So whatever this thing has planned, I say that once it's all done, Desmond's like, I can work with this, you
Right.
know, and
oh, you're saying he won't even have the chance to put his plan in motion?
I'm saying the demon won't.
Yeah, is this
he
how
can-
powerful is this demon? How feasible is it that Jennifer and Caleb and Roberta can take this thing on?
They have the Book of Summoning, the,
Well, yeah,
the Solomon's
the
Book of Summoning.
weakness is the magic.
Yeah.
Like, it's not whatever powers he has.
They just send it back.
It's the fact that he doesn't.
The problem is they have to
natively
figure out
belong in
what
there.
it is first. They have to determine what its name is so they can unsummon it.
I do not volunteer for that chapter.
Well, that might well be Loki's, depending
So,
on how much you can get done in the dream sequence.
well, that means that you guys have 2 more chapters before it comes back around to me to deal with him in this state.
Oh, you wait.
I'm-
Are you just doing the dream sequence? Is that
I'm
what-
doing the dream and the wake up, and then it's back to you,
Ah.
one of you guys is going to have to deal with.
You know what though? That might be
I'm saying
fine.
this may go
Okay,
on
so
for
you
2
You
to
know what?
3.
Basically, you have
What
a
are t-
dream sequence where the monster establishes a telepathic link and uses that to partially
Download?
take control of Desmond. Are we doing it like a dual personality almost, or fighting for control?
I think
sometimes?
Desmond is.
Like an almost Jekyll and Hyde?
I think Desmond is in there trying to get out. I think that.
Yeah, but
So you think that Desmond has no control?
virtually none.
I think it's like I said. I think it might be tapping out some kind of, some kind of message to his people.
But what you were saying, Loki, as far as like, it doesn't have to take place right after it happens. I think it's best to break it up by chapter 2. So if
It
it lands
just
on me
starts
or
here.
lands back on you, either way, that's a good break. That's a good flow.
Well, like I said, it only has to go. I think let the demon have control long enough to have built something great. To give him a much better plan than Desmond would
I
have ever
want this
come.
to go on for a few chapters.
That's what I'm saying. He has to build something great. It has to
Besides,
be.
You blew the load. You opened this portal early in the story from where I'm standing, and all these creatures are running around. I had goblins burning the city down.
Sure.
So it's like we felt like we were already at a climax. This is raising the bar. This is coming closer to a true climax.
Right. We need some kind, and I think that's the thing. The plan.
The world is at a new normal at this point because shit's been revealed. I mean, you're not going back to where you were.
Yeah,
There's
but now we have
fake
Crusader
creatures.
versus Demon Lord.
Right. I mean, like I said, I don't think the Demon Lord lasts a super long time. Long enough to build a cool plan, something really massive, some kind of contraption or
Something with rubber pants.
what have you. Yeah, maybe. That, like.
Nope.
No what?
No. None of Desmond's planning would be a care at all to this demon.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the
His-
demon has its own plan.
His own plan is to bring his body through.
What I'm saying is that
Yeah.
Desmond says, I can work with this. You
think Desmond would really try to open that portal again? 'Cause
No,
I think
no,
that
no.
would be the demon's
I'm
plan.
saying that whatever it is that the demon creates can be retooled to do what Desmond needs.
Wait, what?
Do you guys don't agree that his priority would be to bring his body through?
Oh yeah.
Maybe, but
very
I think the first
powerful
thing is
body.
amass a ton of power so he can do it. In doing so, it would be
Sure.
some kind of contraption that
Or
would
cult, or
rip
both.
the energy from all the fey creatures around here.
I'm saying he would gather up sacrifices.
Yes, exactly what I'm saying.
And
We are
you're
saying
thinking that Desmond would follow through with sacrificing everybody?
sacrificing all the fey.
Are we saying Desmond can interject in any fashion?
No,
I don't know
I'm
that the
saying
monster would discriminate between Fae and human.
maybe, but what if Desmond can retool it? So it does.
Well, Faye might have more juice.
He builds the
A
machine,
little more soul power.
you know what I'm saying, and he never gets to use it. But Desmond's like,
You think it's a machine?
oh, something,
It's steampunk. I can go with
That's
that.
what I'm saying. Some kind of soul machine.
You know what would be interesting? A brewery.
I'm fine with that.
Like a steam
That's not
kettles
bad. Yeah.
and they're throwing corpses
Yeah,
in.
because what he could do is
Making a giant
I'm thinking the
cauldron or
old
something.
the brewing kettles are copper, right? So he could actually create brushes that spin inside, creating the energy that it needs to like draw all this spirit power.
A Van Graff cauldron?
Something like that. Yeah, what do you think?
Sure. It's insane. This caffeine is really working. I'm firing.
Okay, so basically the demon's going to start putting together something that can...
The soul collector, yeah.
The soul cauldron.
Okay.
And then...
creating a machine that will suck the magic and souls out of every fey creature within a
Well, if the demon creates something that is indiscriminate, Desmond figures out how to tool it to just do fey.
Gotcha.
So he's controlling from within.
Okay, so
to try and
basically
steer the
our
demon?
entire hero team is in danger of having their souls sucked out.
Everybody is, yeah, everybody. Even Roberta and Caleb are in danger.
Now,
They don't, not that they know it.
I know no one
you
will
know.
love this.
They might know it.
I know it's not popular.
Yeah, maybe Jennifer's
It's
like,
time to murder
fuck
someone
this
loved.
thing.
Yeah, I know what this would do, and that's when she and Caleb and Roberta realize that they have to take this
That's
thing
not
on.
bad, yeah.
We reunited a love story. We gave another love story. We need to murder a beloved character at this point. Just one, but we need to.
You need to what?
We need to murder a beloved character.
And I nominate Philip.
Fuck you.
I know. That's the natural reaction you
I
should
know.
have.
I
Nominate
think
Poppy.
we would completely lose Wilhelm.
I think
That
we would
might be
lose
an interesting
Wilhelm as well.
though.
Wilhelm
A
would
broken
lose his
Wilhelm?
fucking mind and try and destroy.
No, you can't. You can't. It's got to be Poppy or Crow.
Why you're going with side characters though?
Well, we said there's a way to get rid of Crow.
Then
that
kill
we're
Zara.
We're not completely against.
oh, you know though, the
We were
Soul
saying
Card
that
and Crow is not bad.
Crow could get
Reanimated.
trapped in his lantern and not get out.
I think that maybe
it feels like a
could be
built-in
something.
excuse why he doesn't die.
It could be something where you're going after a main character and Crow throws himself on the sword.
Maybe.
Oh,
Well, you
no,
could
we
make it-
talked
But
yeah,
death
heroic.
isn't
Son of a
death.
Make
bitch,
it
no,
heroic.
this was already plotted out in the end.
We did.
Yes, we already did this.
We're awesome then.
So
was
in
the
the
genius
end,
we had?
no, in the end, it's got to be that Crow, because we said that Crow has a vendetta against Jennifer as well,
Right.
Why?
and she's the one who did the magic that separated his soul from his body.
Okay.
So not only does Meredith and Robert have something against Jennifer, did we ever read the flashback on the podcast?
I don't know. Maybe we
I
do
don't
that.
think that we did.
Maybe we do that like one of the next ones or something like that.
Okay. So basically what happened in the flashback, in the original, I don't know if it's going to be a prologue or something that we just squeeze in, but it was Jennifer that caused Robert's death, and Zara bumped into her on the way out while she was still an apprentice.
Right.
So the thing is that Meredith and Robert and Zara all kind of have something against Jennifer.
Right.
And so does Crow. So in the end, Jennifer is plotted out to throw Desmond under the bus to make her escape, but she can't get away with the book,
Right.
like she had always intended through the whole story. But in the end, it is Crow and Meredith who end up taking on Jennifer. And we didn't plot this out for this book though, but it was that Crow basically had to sacrifice himself so that Meredith had the opportunity to take Jennifer out.
I'm fine with it under one condition, and that's we got to make Crow less tertiary. He's this netherworld voice, this creepy, weird guy who's kind of cool, and everybody he's interesting. But I need a little Mr. Miyagi out of him. Some wise sayings. We got to sprinkle through the book from the point he's introduced to the point he's gone. We got to make the audience fall in love
He's
with
in
him.
This
both
is
of your
just-
following chapters.
This is just too much for one book. It's just too much for one book.
Is it?
You
I don't
guys
know.
have so much going on, so many characters, you cannot really get a feel for anybody. And
Well-
honestly, if you really need to kill a main character in this story, I vote Zara.
I'm not against it, but
time
it's kind of
for-
sad. She never got a love story.
It is kind of time for a culling,
Oh, fucking well.
you know.
Not everybody needs a love story. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that you can kill Philip without
I mean-
destroying two characters.
We're in a steampunky world where the Fae and worlds of the dead
I
are
know.
reachable.
I just feel the
Unless
stakes aren't real
permanent.
if the
You can
hazards aren't real.
kill Dale or Karen.
Well, Dale.
Well, no. See, I thought that if we kill Dale, it unleashes something much bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, and it very well may.
And I don't know.
And-
Also, you're
And-
murdering an innocent fucking pig.
Well, and I think that it might be what's left for the last chapter, the unleashing of what's inside Dale. You know.
I don't know, because we had
I don't know.
originally plotted this
Feral
out where the
Wilhelm
end
sounds so
looks
fun.
like a win for our heroes.
Yeah. I mean,
so I mean, I think that you're again changing the original plot line. You can do it. I'm just saying that any
how
of these.
about this? I hate to agree with Odin, but what if we killed Philip, and then Wilhelm becomes obsessed with bringing him back?
I mean, I think it's a great character arc, and I don't want to rob the love story that's just getting going, but it feels fun to me. But the thing is, if we actually allow Philip to come back, then it's like everyone gets resurrected.
I don't say
I
he,
mean,
no,
that's
no,
my
no, I
point.
don't say if he came back at all. He'd come back as a
I think that if
werebear. I think that if you brought him back, it would be in a very minor way, or like he's able to contact him from the other side, or maybe make some, what do they call that thing, where he's viewing him through it's like the remote viewing with a screen or whatever. He makes this
some
device,
sort of like water vapor holographic spirit.
where the spirit's able to interact with some kind of like.
That's tragic. He's forever alone, just in his study.
I don't like it. I think
communicating.
that you've changed this from a comedy to something very dark. I don't like any of it.
I don't know. I feel like to make the stakes real, somebody we love must go. And I think that's a
you're
fun.
not writing a
I think
comedy.
that's fun.
I think you're not writing a comedy.
Yeah. I mean, it would suck if.
I think you guys
Ghostbusters
are
was
jumping
dead.
over to your typical genres, is what you're doing.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
none
dark.
of us are typically writing comedy,
I
but
Yeah,
I
I
think
know.
that you
slaughter.
guys have
I think
both.
that's evident to the audience.
You've
slaughter
both
characters.
taken this somewhere where it was never meant to be. It's not. It's a light comedy. It's obviously fantasy,
Okay, well,
but
whoever's chapter
Maybe we break up the team then instead of killing them.
is our choice. But the thing is, let the audience cue in. Tell us how much they love
all
or
right,
hate
yeah,
these
that's a good
ideas.
idea. Everybody, jump in and decide if you think that a main character needs to go,
You know,
and if so,
go to Vegvisor.
who's your vote?
Go to Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Vegvisir has, community boards that you can comment on. You can go to the Dark and Stormy Nights and comment on any one of our episodes or any one of our posts. I mean, or find us on Twitter at the Dark Stormy K1.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't murder anybody. Maybe we murder a few people. Maybe it's somebody else.
You know what though? If we kill somebody, it's on you because you didn't vote. So we're making it your fault. So we'll see you next week.